What's up, everybody? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king, LadySpeech, in the place to be. And I want to welcome you back to this here channel. You could be anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world, and you're also sharing, spending the currency of your time, attention, and space with me. So thank you for that. Your time, your attention, and your space is valuable. So I am honored that you would share a bit of that with me. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, if you're feeling me, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And make sure you press that notifications bell so you can keep up with all of these here shenanigans, honey. Because I gets down on many different levels, doing many different things over here. So keep up with that notifications so you can be notified about these here shenanigans. Now, as you can see from the title of today's video, we're going to get all the way into it. So let me make sure I've got what I've got. I've got what I need. Do I have my phone with my notes in it? Check. Because I've got some things to say, and I want to make sure I keep my thoughts organized. Do I have my beverage to keep hydrated? Yes. Because I don't want my throat getting parched as I'm delivering this message on TV. I feel like I'm missing one last thing. There she is. There you go. That's what I was missing. My fancy bonnet. As you can tell from the title of this video, as you can tell from my new addition, the missing ingredients, you can tell, you already know what this video was all about, and or is all about. I wasn't going to say anything until I saw what Auntie Monique said about the situation and a lot of the fallback that has happened after what she has said, and then I was definitely motivated to say something. So for those of you who don't know what's going on, for those of you who literally just mindlessly clicked in on this video, for those of you who read the title of this video but you're not understanding what the what is about what I'm about to talk about, let me break it down, okay? This is Bonnet Gate. We are talking about Bonnet Gate. We are talking about dun, 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 Bonnet Gate. And this is all about a picture that went viral a couple of weeks ago, about a week ago or 2 weeks ago at this point, I'm not too sure. This is a discussion that's actually an ongoing discussion. It's something that I have heard a few times before in my life, in many different ways, a few times in this incarnation, but this is not a new conversation, okay? It is just happening again because of this particular picture that has gone viral, okay? So let me break down what happened, all right? The picture that went viral is a picture of a group of black women who are traveling. They're going wherever it is they're going. They are minding their business. They aren't doing anything to anyone. They're literally checking in at the airport, okay? They are in fact contributing to the economy because they have paid with their money, their hard-earned money. They have paid to go on this trip. They are, because they have paid to go on this trip, they are contributing to the economy, not only where they're at, but wherever they're going, okay? They aren't bothering anyone, okay? And a picture got taken with them all in bonnets, all right? And this picture has gone viral, and it has sparked a lot of controversy, so much so that so many people are weighing in on this. Of course, this is black women, black people business. So black people from all over and from all different walks of life are weighing in on this conversation. And it has gotten to the point where celebrities, A celebrities, B celebrities, all types of celebrities are sharing their opinion about this. And I figured, why not? Why not? There's a couple of things that I definitely want to reiterate that a few other people are talking about, and there's also some concepts that I don't see people speaking about that I want to uplift and add to this conversation. I'm interested in this conversation because I'm a black femme, darling. I'm a black femme, a black woman, a black gender fluid being that participates in bonnet culture. I participate in bonnet culture, so this conversation does concern me. This conversation does concern me. So the controversy surrounding this is this: Black women going out wearing their bonnets. Is it classless? Is it uncouth? It's ghetto. Black women going out wearing their bonnets out in public, something that should be reserved for the bedroom and the bathroom. Bonnets, what we wear before we go to sleep to protect our hair. Bonnets should be in the house. They should be worn right before you go to bed. They should be donned to protect your hair. And some people believe that they shouldn't even be worn at all. There's definitely some people who believe that Black women should just abandon the wearing of bonnets and things for all intents and purposes and just never wear them. Let's talk about the bonnet. Let's start with, like I said, I got my notes, I got my water, we're gonna get into it. So let's talk about number one, first and foremost. What is the bonnet? What is its function? The bonnet is a protective hairpiece, you know. It is an evening hat, a sleeping hat, if you will, to simplify it. It is a headpiece, a sleeping hat, a fabric hat that we use to protect our hair at night. Black women oftentimes use bonnets because the conditions that we live in and under and sleep under are not the most ideal for us to maintain healthy hair. So bonnets are made of material that do not snatch our hair out. Bonnets are used to protect our, you know, if we've done our hair and we protect our style, we want to protect as much as we can the hairstyle from frizzing when we toss and turn in bed. Bonnets are used to aid in the protecting of our hair, aid in the helping of our hair, aid in the covering of our head, okay? So this is where bonnets come from. Bonnets come from the tradition of wearing scarves to bed and just wearing scarves in general, which is, this can be traced back in African American culture, and it can also be traced back to some aspects of African culture, the act of covering our head. There's a lot of reasons why we cover our head. Growing up, I'm an 80s baby, a 90s child, and growing up in my Black household, I grew up in Colorado, but my family is from the South, and the bulk of my childhood I remember being with my grandmother, who is from Texas, deep in Texas, deep South. And because of that, I grew up with wearing stocking caps. We did not have bonnets back then, we had stocking caps. And so my grandmother would make stocking caps, and it would literally was from old stockings or from like new stockings. But she would take those stockings, they would be clean of course, cut the legs off, tie the legs, and then you have a stocking cap which kept your hair tamed and down. It kept it from flying all over the place. So I grew up with the tradition of wearing stocking caps or scarves. Back in the day, rollers, big, you know, foam rollers and those hard rollers were a thing. Especially 70s, 80s, you know, 50s, 60s, those rollers were a thing. So to protect your rollers, to protect your protective style, if you put your hair up, if you got your hair done before, you know, you're in braids or in other things and you needed to protect that style, wrapping your hair has been something we've been doing for a very long time. We've been doing this for decades. So bonnets is the new style of doing this. This is a bonnet I have. This is my fancy bonnet. Like I said, I have another bonnet. My sleeping bonnet, okay? My sleeping bonnet, okay? So this is the function of bonnets. This is where bonnets have come from. This is why we wear them, okay? To protect. So bonnets, the wearing of bonnets is about protecting our hair. It is about covering our head, okay? So let's go back to, again, in African American culture, this has been around for a long time. This has been around for a long time, and actually not only Black women are not, we're not the only ones who are known for this. There's a lot of Latinx people, if you look back at some of the styles that, you know, the Chicano culture and of course I'm American, so I'm speaking from this space. But there is, when you look at back in the day, some of the styles that a lot of other people wore too, from the pin curl style, other styles, the rag curls. There's a lot of us from white to brown to other people that have utilized the wrapping of our hair in different styles. You know, when you get your hair blown out, you know, that's something that has happened in, you know, the Black culture, but definitely like the Dominican culture and other cultures like Afro-Latinx cultures. There are times when you get special treatments for your hair and then you need to wrap your hair to protect it or to prolong the style. So this comes from this space, okay? From the African space and from the spiritual space, we come from cultures that have utilized covering our hair. I I have 41%, I believe it's like 40 to 41%. It's 41% Nigerian blood in me. I know this because of DNA tests, but because of my connection to Nigerian culture, just before I even knew what my DNA test is, I had an affinity for Nigerian culture, and also understanding the African slave trade, knowing where my people were coming from. I had a feeling that that's kind of where I knew we were taken from that region as well. And so speaking in from the Nigerian space, there's the Geles. I believe that that's how you pronounce it. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it is. And from when I was a little girl, I have seen the way that the Nigerian women do their hair. I've always wanted to do it, and now that I know that this is a large part of my blood, like, I'm gonna learn how so I can honor and do that. But the wrapping of our hair for ceremony, in celebration, to decorate our crowns, in order to cover our hair for ceremonial or for religious reasons, okay? In order to protect our hair, all right? Protective styles is not something that is new to African Americans. We've been doing protective styles since we've been on the continent. Look at modern day African American black styles, and look at back in the day styles from different regions from all over Africa. We've covered our hair. We've done things to protect it, to adorn it for hundreds to thousands of years, okay? So this tradition is long. This tradition of covering your hair to sleep, covering your hair for decoration, covering your hair for religious purposes, covering your head for, like, you know, for African traditional religious purposes, all the way down in the Bible. Okay, veiling, the act of covering your head to protect your spirit, or to protect this aspect of your head, your ori or your third eye. All of that veiling is something that is familiar in the Christian faith. It's familiar in the Muslim faith. It's familiar in English, as in like English and European American paganism. It's also present within African traditional spaces, the act of covering your hair for different spaces, okay, or when you're under different rituals or different things of that nature. All right, so the act of covering your hair for spiritual purposes, for protective purposes, for sleeping purposes has been around for a very long time. Now that I've said that, let me quench my thirst, unparch my throat, and we're gonna get into some things. The argument against black women specifically, wearing bonnets in public, and Monique's response. Let's get into it. A big argument against black women wearing our coverings, our bonnets out in public, and that Monique's response kind of reiterated and supported, is that it's ghetto. That it's ghetto. That only ghetto girls, that only ghetto black girls, that only ghetto black women wear their bonnets out in public. And ghetto black girls and ghetto black women don't care about themselves. Ghetto black girls, ghetto black women don't care about how they look. Ghetto black girls, ghetto black women are loud and ugly in their demeanor. They're loud and they're ugly in their fashion sense. They're poor. Ghetto black girls display their poorness. They display the fact that they have lack of education, less resources when it comes to food and fashion and money and things and material things. Ghetto black girls don't care about their appearance at all. Monique's argument plays into that because the foundational aspect of Auntie Monique's argument is that it means when black girls wear their bonnets out in public, that they don't care about themselves and they don't have any pride, and that it is classless. I don't agree all the way. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Let's talk about how, and I get her point. Before we get in, I get her point. I get where she's coming from. Listen, black people actually, culturally, from the African American perspective, the culture we've created, where we are at, African American people, African American Black people, and historically where we come from, the cultures that we actually come from, the African cultures that we come from. Both of the, from where we come from and what we've created, from the situations and the circumstances we were put into and born to, let me speak to you the fact that African American culture, Black culture, is flashy. We care lots about how we dress. You know, it's a running joke that when Black people step out to church, like the Black church lady trope, the Black church lady image is iconic. And when you imagine a Black church lady, you usually imagine an older Black woman dressed to the nines with that iconic, some type of iconic Black lady church hat that's ornate as hell, and like she's got all the things on, she's just dressed to the nines. It's a running joke in the Black community that we like to step out, which is true. The whole bling bling culture in hip hop aids to the fact that Black people, we love to dress up. We love to make it cute. We love to look good. We love to make it hot. Look at the cultures, the African cultures that the Black people, African Black people, and African people in the diaspora were stolen from. Look at those cultures. Look at a lot of the tribes and the cultures. There are traditions where we did scarification, where we tattooed our bodies, where we pierced our bodies, where we had colorful clothes and decorative makeup that we wore. We come from tribes where our appearance actually meant something, where we took time in the textiles that we made and created, where we took time in the designs of our huts and the designs of our garments, that the things that that our homes and our places of work and our clothes, the things that we wore, they weren't just functional, they looked good as well. Looking good is very Black. It's very tribal. It's very indigenous. Indigenous people, animals decorate themselves. Look at the animal kingdom. They decorate themselves. They decorate their homes to be more appealing for each other. We've done the same thing. And especially for Black people, we love looking good. When you look at African American culture, and especially when you look at Black culture in London, in England, look at Black culture all over the diaspora. Our hair is very important to us. How we dress, how we present ourselves, that's important to us. The colors, we love it. We love looking good. We love looking good. We love looking good. We love looking good. So part of this comes from that space. Part of this comes from that space. Part of this comes from that space. But here's the thing. The beauty about our ancestors is that they, before colonialism, before the influence of white supremacy, they understood that they were human. And they understood that there were times when you dressed up, there were times when you preened, there were times when you coiffed, there were times when you got pretty for mating, to choose a mate, to choose a partner, to show out, to go to the festivals, to worship your gods, to participate in ritual and ceremony, to acknowledge, to party, to acknowledge and celebrate together. There were times when you just did it because you felt like it. You woke up and you felt like looking good. But there were times when you needed to hunt. There are times when you needed to care for the children. There are times when you needed to hold counsel for your village. There are times when you needed to be the medicine woman, the medicine man. There are times when you just needed to be a village member in your village. There are times when you're just taking care of everyday life. And those times, yeah, you would look good, you look presentable, but for the most part, you look practical. You look ready to do your job. You look ready to do what it is you got to do to accommodate that aspect of life you needed to accommodate, okay? Monique's response, that Black women who step out in bonnets, don't care about themselves, don't have any pride in themselves, don't care about what they look like, it lacked compassion for a lot of people in a lot of different situations. And for me, a lot of y'all's response into why you don't like to see Black women out in public, it reinforces white supremacy. It reinforces white supremacist ideals of beauty. And it reinforces anti-blackness, and it separates Black women from their humanity. Let's get into it. How is this rooted in white supremacy? How is y'all's aversion to seeing Black women and y'all's response? How is that rooted in white supremacy? What is the white girl version of Black girls in bonnets? What's the white girl version of black girls in bonnets? I'll tell you. It is the white girl with the long hair and the messy bun, her hair piled up on top of her head, or pulled back in the messy ponytail. What's the uniform usually with that, goes with that? An oversized shirt or an athletic shirt or a day old shirt or your husband's shirt or your athletic shirt, maybe some yoga pants, some shorts, some athletic gear, some workout gear, some old jeans, some sweats. And when you see that image, what do you think of a lot of times? You think about the fact that that's probably a mom. That image is most associated with what? Motherhood, which is an aspect of humanity. Parenting is an aspect of humanity. So oftentimes when you see that white woman image of just, when you see a white woman running around Walmart, when you see her going to Target, when you see her at the gas station, when you see her picking up her children, when you see her dropping off her children, when you see her at Starbucks, when you see her just living regular life, these aspects of life, you usually just be like, oh, that's a mom, or you don't even think about it. 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 Why do white women with long hair like to put their hair up in a messy bun? Well, because it's protective in some ways. It keeps their hair out of their faces. It does something with their hair. It protects it so it's not in their kids' face, it's not in the food, it's not in the things that they're doing. How come white women and non-black women and other POC with straighter hair or longer hair get to do their versions of messy buns, get to display that version of humanity? And that's looked at as motherhood. That's looked at as personhood. That's a busy wife. That's a wife. That's a mother. She's obviously got things going on. She's got a lot. She might be depressed. Or that. She might be depressed. She might have postpartum. If people jump to, oh, she doesn't care about herself, she doesn't care about her opinions, she's let herself go, even then that response is more humane. Y'all's aversion to seeing black women in our bonnets out in public is rooted in white supremacy. A bonnet for black women could be a lot of things. That's a mom. A bonnet protects our hair. Maybe we didn't have time to do our hair. Maybe she has 4 or 5 kids or 2 kids or 1 kid and she got up because she's the responsible. Maybe she's a single mom, or maybe she's not a single mom. Maybe she's a wife and a mom and she's got to take care of her husband, her spouse, her wife. She's got to take care of her partners if she's in a polycule. She's also got to take care of her kids. She's got to take care of the dog. She's got to take care of the cat. She's got to take care of herself. Maybe she got up that morning because she made breakfast for everybody. She's attended to everybody's food. She made sure everybody was dressed. She made sure everybody had their homework. She homeschooled people. She cooked breakfast. After a night of making sure her kids were good. Maybe she's a mom. How come our bonnet isn't associated with motherhood? How come our bonnet isn't associated with the uniform of a good wife? Maybe she has her bonnet on out in public because she is dropping off her kids, she's picking up breakfast, she's going to the grocery store, she's going back home to clean her home. And she's got her hair done under that. Remember when I talked about why we wear bonnets? Maybe her hair is actually all the way done under that. And maybe she wants to save it for the event she's going to tonight, the event she's going to tomorrow, her husband, her spouse, herself. A black woman wearing a bonnet out in public doesn't necessarily mean she doesn't care about herself. Also, a black woman wearing a bonnet out in public could indicate that she doesn't care about herself. Why is it that you're not asking why she doesn't care about herself? Why is it that your automatic response is, oh my God, do something with your hair? Maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she's depressed. Maybe she's dealing in a manic space. Maybe her mental illness, like the mental illnesses of so many people, prevent her from attending to her hygiene. Why aren't we asking? So say she doesn't care about herself. Then why aren't you asking, why isn't that black woman caring about herself? Why are you automatically demanding that she cover it up with makeup and hairstyles and pretty clothes so you don't have to deal with it? And that's why you don't want to deal with it. So say a black woman she's let her appearance go. She doesn't give a damn about herself anymore. She doesn't care what she looks like. How does she get there? If I just mentioned earlier how much looking good means to black people, but how that's a part of our actual indigenous past and cultures, and it's a part of the culture we created, why then would a black woman veer from that and let herself come out looking crazy? Instead of asking those questions, instead of affording her her humanity, oh, she has no pride in herself. She has no pride in herself. Let's break down another reason why y'all don't like black women wearing bonnets in public. Because it means that she's not pandering to the male gaze or to the white gaze. The cornerstone of white supremacy is misogynoir and misogyny, hating women, and hating blackness, anti-blackness. Black women and black femmes occupy both of those things. The cornerstone of white supremacy, never forget that this economy, capitalistic economy, is based on the slave economy. Y'all are trained. Slavery ended less than 150 years ago. It was abolished. It was shifted because we have the prison industrial system. It was shifted 150 years ago. We have been out of enslavement as a people less than half the time we were in enslavement. And there is evidence of some people still held enslavement and encampment, being captured up until 1960s in the South, black people. We're less than 2 to 3 generations away from slavery. We are literally conditioned, y'all are conditioned due to white supremacy for black women to be available for all of your needs and your purposes. A bonnet means that a black woman is off duty. A black woman wearing a head wrap, when a black woman does her hair, it's for herself. It's so she can feel good, looking good, she loves it. But you guys get to enjoy it too. When a black woman's in her braids or she's took time on her hairstyle, not only does she enjoy it and partake in it, but y'all partake in it. You weigh in. Your gaze is appeased in some way. When a black woman wears a head wrap, she could wear a head wrap because she's veiling. Remember, sometimes we like to cover our hair to veil ourselves for spiritual purposes. Sometimes she's wearing the head wrap because it goes with her outfit. Sometimes she's wearing a head wrap because it's for religious or spiritual purposes, or just because she felt like it that day. No matter what, even if it's just all for herself, whoever she sees, whoever that black woman, that black girl graces with her presence that day, will also get to partake in the head wrap. They get to partake in the art of her. When a black woman is wearing a bonnet, it ain't about y'all. She's off duty. She's off work. She doesn't care about what you think. A bonnet is to protect our hair for whatever reasons, because we didn't do it, because we're depressed, because we didn't have time to do it, because we're carrying the weight of our families or the weight of our life, or because our mental illness wouldn't have let us attend to our hygiene. Because we're really, really busy and there's no one else to help us. When a black woman wears a bonnet, it's not about your gaze. It's not about whether you like it or not. It's not about whether we look cute or not. It's not about whether or not you find us sexy or not. It's about us. And because of white supremacy, y'all have been conditioned. You have been conditioned to expect the labor and the time of black women. And when we do something that is exclusively for us, that is inherently offensive to so many of you. The bonnet literally offends you because it has nothing to do with you. The bonnet literally offends a lot of you because it has nothing to do with you. And it's a symbol of our ultimate self-care. When a black woman's wearing a bonnet in public, it could indicate self-care. Self-care because of this, our hair is policed and touched all the time. When we wear a bonnet, that is an invitation to keep your hands off. Even with head wraps, I've had people who, uninvited, come to touch my head wrap or touch my hair. When I'm wearing a bonnet, no one touches my hair. No one touches this. Sometimes we wear bonnets because it's armor. Sometimes it helps us to protect our energy against you. Sometimes y'all touch our hair too much. Again, y'all touch our hair without asking all the times. This is again rooted within white supremacy and the ownership that a lot of y'all feel that you have over our time, our body, and the way that we look. A bonnet ain't about y'all, and that pisses you off. A bonnet is a defense against, sometimes we use it to be defensive, to defend ourselves against you, as armor against you, and it pisses you off. That's a part of our body you really have to get violating in order to touch our hair, in order to touch our head, in order to touch us. You really have to be obvious with your violations if we have a bonnet on, and that pisses a lot of you off. It pisses you off that the bonnet doesn't pander to the white gaze. The bonnet isn't about white people finding us attractive. It's not about the job that we have. It's not about appeasing capitalism. It's not about appeasing the male gaze. A bonnet isn't about, don't I look sexy in it? Don't you want to have sex with me? The bonnet isn't about any of that, and that pisses y'all off. The bonnet is about sex, self-actualization, and self-care. Sometimes my hair looks too good to show up to you. Sometimes it looks too good. Sometimes this fresh new hairstyle isn't for you. It's for my lovers. It's for myself. It's for my audience. It ain't for you. Sometimes the bonnet is because I didn't do my hair, and y'all consistently talk so much mess about black women. Sometimes it's easier. Maybe I'm in a depressive mode. Maybe I have spent so much time because I'm required to care for everybody else. Maybe I spent my whole days, my whole couple weeks caring for everybody else that I wasn't even able to care for my hair. So instead of walking out with my hair looking crazy, I put a bonnet on to keep from getting talked about. The bonnet has nothing to do with you. The bonnet has nothing to do with you, and I don't like the fact that the idea that we're pushing that when you see a black woman out in public, she has no pride in herself, she has no love in herself. Let's quit that. That's a myth. And let's not act like black women do not contain multitudes. Black femmes don't contain multitudes. We contain multitudes. A bonnet bothers y'all because it reminds you that we are human. Y'all love the strong black woman trope. You love to act like we are monoliths in that capacity, that we are superwomen, that we are supposed to endure. A bonnet reminds you that we're human. It reminds you that we need care, that our hair needs special care, that we need special care. And y'all don't like it, evidence of that. You like us to maintain our strength in private. Y'all love to call us strong black women, but you don't like to assist us in being strong. You don't like to support us in the ways that help make us strong. You don't like to give us support. And you don't like evidence of the fact that we're doing that for ourselves out in public. You want it done in private behind closed doors. A bonnet is evidence that we have other lives, that we are human, that a lot of us require care. Parts of us require care. Every part of us requires care. And it reminds you of the care you don't give to us. It reminds you how you neglect black women. It reminds you, you love all these wonderful hairstyles. It takes a lot. It takes a lot, and it actually doesn't take a lot to care for our hair, but it takes time, it takes care, and y'all don't want to give us any of that time. We are conditioned because due to the enslavement of black people, due to global anti-blackness, due to global misogynoir, we are conditioned to expect black women to be our work mules, and to be our work mules, you got to be at the ready. A bonnet means she's not ready to work for you. She's not ready to appeal to your sexy idea of sexy. She's not available to appeal to your idea of black motherhood. She's not available for you to cook for her. She's not available for you to berate her. She's not available for you. And that pisses so many of y'all off. Let's get into the positive effects of the bonnet. wearing bonnets out in public has started a conversation with non-black POCs who have curly hair, kinky hair, due to their ethnicity, due to the African in their blood. I have been on TikTok for a few months now, and what I have noticed is so many non-black POCs and so many curly-headed, especially ginger, red-headed white people with curly hair wearing bonnets and talking about protective styles and doing things that black women made popular. Wearing bonnets out in public started a conversation around how to care for hair that's not straight, hair that's not European. The fact that black women wore bonnets out in public inspired a lot of you to start asking questions as to why. And when we answered those questions, you started going to our channels, you started going to our YouTube channels, our social media channels, learning that we cared for our hair. Y'all started utilizing so many of our products. I remember when Carol's Daughter used to be a black-owned business. And when it first came out, its products were really, really good because they catered exclusively to black hair. A lot of you, due to the natural hair movement and how it was popularized via social media, a lot of white people with coarse hair, with kinkier hair, with curlier hair, a lot of non-black POCs with the same type of hair who were having trouble, who were dealing in the white European world of beauty standards and beauty hair care, figured out that they could come over to our side and benefit from some of the techniques, a lot of the techniques, a lot of the tools, a lot of the things that we were using to care for our hair. That is the benefit of us wearing our hair out in public. So many of you take care of your hair so much better because we dare to reveal our caring secrets, a tool. The benefit of us wearing our bonnets out in public is to remind you that we are human. Beauty takes time. Self-care takes time. We are human. We're not just your strong black woman. We are human. It reminds you of that. You know, I mentioned earlier 80s baby, 90s kid, and I touched on this earlier and I want to reiterate. Y'all act like this is ghetto and everything when so many of you older women actually grew up with images of loving, beautiful women in your life who were walking around in their house dresses and their muumuus with their rollers and their scarves in their hairs. And that's just not black women. That is look at old 80s sitcoms. Look at old 90s sitcoms. Look at old cartoons. Y'all want to institute this June Cleaver, leave it to Beaver. Housewives need to be in dresses and all the times and in constant service to all of humanity, their men, their husbands, their lovers, their children, their fathers, their mothers, and they can never be in service to themselves. A bonnet symbolizes a black woman being in service to herself, and y'all do not like it. Y'all do not like it. Bonnets sometimes are a symbol of freedom. They're a symbol of that. Sometimes a woman has spent her entire life spending thousands of dollars on her hair, on her nails, on her teeth, on her body, not for herself to be more appealing to men, to the opposite sex, to get better jobs, to do all of this. Sometimes women are taught to alter themselves and spend so much money. Sometimes a bonnet is an admission from a woman that she is fine and complete just the way she is. It's a symbol of freedom. It's a symbol of happiness. It's a symbol of liberation. It's a symbol of I've broken free from being a slave to the male gaze, from being a slave to the white gaze. I've broken free from that and I'm fine just the way I am. I love myself just the way I am. Y'all love a confident woman. You love a woman who's confident in herself. You love a femme who's confident in themselves, but you don't like the work it takes for her to get that. You don't like what it means to be that. And a confident woman, a woman who loves herself, doesn't always look like wearing stilettos and her face beat all the time. Just because a woman's out in public in her freaking muumuu, in her freaking bonnet, doesn't mean she doesn't freaking love herself. She could be on her way to pick up her lobster dinner and her steak and her sex toys for her man that keeps her happy. And she's gonna save all that beauty for her dude. She could be picking up her kids and be the best mother ever. And getting ready to take them out on mom-kid dates. She could be doing a lot. But dispel this idea that a black woman wearing a bonnet out in public means that she doesn't love herself. And for real, y'all's classism is showing. Going back to the ghetto black girls. Let me break down to you how ghetto black girls, how hood black girls influence not only American fashion, but French fashion. And how we've been doing that since the 50s and the 60s. Let me tell you, since before that, designers have always taken a lot of inspiration from poor people, from indigenous people, from black people. The 90s, Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger, especially Tommy Hilfiger, took so much. He stole from the black girl, the ghetto black girls, the hood black girls in New York and New Jersey. Y'all like to say so many things the hood black girls do is ghetto, it's uncouth, so much. A couple of years ago, there was controversy because some designers during Fashion Week chose to put baby hairs on all of their models. That trend comes from black girls. I have seen the trend of bamboo earrings. That's a hood black girl, brown girl, Mexican girl thing. That's a hood girl thing. So much of y'all's fashion direction actually comes from hood black girls. So y'all's classism is absolutely showing when you talk about it makes you look ghetto. It makes you look ghetto. Excuse me, ghetto is couture. Excuse me, ghetto is couture. Excuse me, y'all, half of your fashion comes from poor black girls. Half of your fashion trends, half of your mother's fashion trends come from poor black girls. So miss me with that and check your classism. What if a black girl is wearing her bonnet because she hasn't brushed her hair? Maybe she does care about herself and she doesn't have access to hygiene products. Maybe she does care about herself and she's never been taught to do her hair. I remember in my early 20s, I entered into from 17 to about 21. My community never really saw me they never really saw my hair. I hated it. I hated it for a lot of different reasons. I hated it. And I covered it. And most of the time I would wear this. I still have this hat. And I don't wear it too often anymore, but I still have this hat because it's a symbol of that time and how far I've come. I used to wear this black hat that my grandma bought me. And it went with a lot of things. It was a black felt hat. And it was cute in the beginning, but I wore it all the time. Even in the summer, when it was the wrong material, I would be so hot. But I would wear this hat to cover my hair. I had so much shame and so many ugly things attached to my hair. It took people asking me after the third year, why do you always cover your hair? For religious purposes? It took people lovingly asking me that question for a long time. And in the beginning, I couldn't truthfully answer it. It took them, though, asking me that question in order to get to the bottom of what was going on with me and my hair. And then when I finally hit on it, I embarked on a journey to love my hair and myself more. What if a black girl is wearing a bonnet out in public because she doesn't care about herself? What if she can't have access to products? What if she's depressed? What if her mental illness, she's dealing with schizophrenia, doesn't have access to her meds, and her hair is the least of her problems? What if she's dealing with dissociative disorder, identity disorder? What if she's in a domestic violence situation and her husband, her man, her partner won't let her do her hair? So the best that she can do is cover it. Have more compassion. This shows how y'all are so uncompassionate for black women and black girls. What if she doesn't love herself? In that moment, what she doesn't need is your judgment. She doesn't need you telling her to go clean up. She doesn't need any of that. She might need you to ask her if she's okay. She might need you to ask her if she needs anything. She might need your support. She might need you to just mind your business. She might need help out of a domestic violence situation. She might need you to just treat her with an ounce of humanity that day. But what none of us need, no matter why you see us wearing a bonnet out in public, is your judgment. We don't need your dirty looks. We don't need your classism. We don't need your racism. We don't need your misogynoir. We don't need your anti-blackness. We don't need your misogyny. We don't need you judging us. We don't need that. Black trans women have a life expectancy of 35 years old. We need you to do something about your transphobia. Black women in America are graduating college and starting businesses at higher rates than a lot of different other demographics. We need your support. Black women are killed in domestic violence situations more than white women and a lot of other races when we are in not only interracial relationships, but interracial relationships, black on black relationships. We need your support. Black women go missing and murdered at a higher rate than white women, and we are less reported. We need your attention. Black women experience police brutality at the same rates as black men do. We need your protection. What we don't need is y'all debating about why we're wearing bonnets in public. We're human. There's many reasons why a black woman wears a bonnet in public. If she doesn't love herself, well then get off your high fucking horse and do something about it. Contribute to a society that makes a black woman love herself. But y'all's continuing to make this commentary on us isn't helping. If a black woman does love herself and she's wearing a bonnet out in public, hold space for our humanity and keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Mind your business and go about your life. Quit assuming that we're ghetto. And quit assuming that ghetto is the worst thing that you can be on the planet. Ghetto black girls exist because America is racist and created situations where ghettos formed. There's nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to a ghetto black girl. Remember where your fashion comes from. So much of your slang, your language, your music was inspired by the ghetto. Check your classism. Check your anti-blackness. Check your misogynoir. And stay out of the business of black women, femmes, and girls. Unless you're here to support us the way we need, want, and desire to be supported, stay on the sidelines like y'all always do and let us do our thing. And that's that on that. And that's that on the Mary Had a Little Lamb. And that's that on period. If you made it to the end of this video, gold star for you. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate you. Feel free to share this video with whoever you feel like needs to see it. Share it on the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Make sure you credit me and point people back here. If you disagree with the things that I said in this video, that is absolutely fine. Disagreement is how we grow. However, feel free to comment. Keep it cute in the comments, though. I will delete you if you get disrespectful. I don't care what race, where you come from, what your attitude is. You will be deleted, okay? I do welcome healthy debates. I do welcome healthy discussions from opposing viewpoints, but I do not stand for disrespect, all right? And just know that going into this, you weren't going to change my mind about this. I'm a black woman, I'm a black femme, I'm a black gender fluid person who presents as femme. So yeah, playa, this is something that I have intimate knowledge with and I deal with, okay? And again, like I said, I respect a lot of the different viewpoints. I respect the people who want us to be seen as, excuse me, queens and worthy and love and beautiful. I respect that, and I see exactly where a lot of those comments come from. However, the point of this video was to bring the humanity of black women into the room, because a lot of y'all and a lot of your arguments disrespect the humanity of black women and of black femmes. So this was the point of this video, and I'm not backing down off of that, okay? Again, if you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, if you're feeling me, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe bell, baby. And make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with these shenanigans. This was kind of a rant style. I was really, really passionate about the subject today. But you know, all kinds of videos go on this video, on this channel. And I am going to start responding to more like current news stuff. Because I think I have a valuable opinion. I have something valuable to say, so I'm gonna freaking say it. I'm gonna use my platform to say it, baby. With that being said, just in case no one has told you today, you are wonderful. And if you're a black woman watching this, you're beautiful. In your bonnet, in your head wrap, bald-headed, weaved up. Protect the styles of knots with your bad hair, with your good hair. Remember that the only good hair is cared for hair, okay? That's it. It don't have nothing to do with your proximity or closeness to whiteness. Dear black woman, you are beautiful and amazing in all of your incarnations, and every part of your humanity should be honored. It should be honored, and I honor it. I honor it, even if no one else does. All right, you guys, you have a good day. Make sure to drink your water, handle your business, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.